wake up, but something is wrong. Not in a way you can explain. Not in a way your mind can immediately understand. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it's there. It feels like the world itself has shifted, like something fundamental, changed during the night. You take a slow breath, and that's when you notice it. The air, it feels thicker, heavier than it should be. It presses against your chest, like something unseen is filling the space around you. And then, the smell. At first, it's faint, easy to ignore, easy to pretend it's nothing. But the longer you stay still, the stronger it becomes. Rot. Something decaying. Something that doesn't belong in a place where people live. You sit up slowly, listening, waiting, trying to understand what changed. But your mind has no answers. Only a growing feeling that something is deeply wrong. And then, you hear it. Bells, ringing in the distance. Slow, heavy, repetitive, one after another. You wait, because bells always stop. They always have a purpose. They always end. But this time, they don't. They continue. Again, and again, and again. As if something demands it. As if something must be announced, over and over. And deep inside, something in you begins to understand. These bells are not for celebration. They are not for gathering. They are not for warning. They are for death. You stand up, slowly. Your body hesitates, even if your mind doesn't yet know why. You walk toward the door. Each step feels heavier, like something inside you is trying to hold you back. But you reach the door. You open it and step outside. The street is wrong, not empty, but not alive. Something in between. The usual sounds are gone. No voices, no movement, no life. Just the wind, moving slowly, carrying that same smell. Stronger now. And then, you see it. A body, lying in the street, completely still, face pale, eyes open, but empty. You stop. You wait. For movement, for breath, for anything. But nothing happens. He doesn't move. He doesn't breathe. He doesn't exist anymore. And then, you look around, and that's when everything changes. There's another body, further down the street, and another, and another, and another. They are everywhere. Not hidden, not covered, not respected. Just left. As if no one dares to get close. As if touching them would mean something worse. Something shifts inside you. This is no longer confusion. This is no longer curiosity. This is fear, real fear, the kind that grows slowly, tightening around your chest. You look at the houses, windows barely open, people watching from a distance. No one steps outside, no one speaks, no one helps. And suddenly, you understand something. They already know. They know what this is. Or at least, they know enough. Enough to stay away, enough to be afraid. Whatever this is, it didn't begin here. It came from somewhere else. It traveled, silently, hidden, waiting. And now, pausa. It's here. And you are already inside it. You don't see it happen, not at first. There is no single moment, no clear beginning. No one points and says, that's when it started. Because by the time you notice it, it has already been here. For days, maybe weeks, moving quietly, beneath everything. Hidden in places no one looks, in corners, in shadows, in the spaces between life. It didn't knock. It didn't warn you. It didn't ask permission. It simply arrived. Far from here, beyond the walls, beyond what you can see, there were other places. Cities like yours, alive, busy, full of voices, places where people woke up, just like you did, and felt something was wrong, but they didn't understand it either. Not until it was too late. It came by sea, slowly, quietly, hidden inside ships that carried everything people trusted. Food, cloth, spices, wealth, and something else. Something no one saw, something no one inspected, something no one feared. until it was already inside. Beneath the decks, where the light barely reaches, there was movement. Small, constant, unnoticed. Rats. Dozens of them, moving through wood and rope, feeding on whatever they could find, living where no one cared to look. And on them, something even smaller. Fleas. Invisible to the eye. Silent, hungry, carrying something far worse than themselves. Something that didn't kill quickly, but spread perfectly. When the ships docked, nothing seemed unusual. Workers approached, they climbed aboard, they touched the ropes, the wood, the cargo. They carried it all into the city, piece by piece, without hesitation, without fear, because there was no reason to be afraid, not yet. The first signs were easy to ignore. A fever, a headache, a strange exhaustion. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming. People got sick all the time, and most of them recovered. That's what everyone believed. That's what everyone expected. But this time, something was different. The fever didn't go away. It grew, stronger, hotter, consuming the body from the inside. Then came the pain, deep, sharp, unbearable. And then, the swelling, dark lumps appearing beneath the skin, growing, spreading, turning the body against itself. And once they appeared, there was no turning back. What made it worse was how fast it moved. You could see someone in the morning, speaking, walking, alive, and by night, they were gone. No time to understand, no time to prepare, no time to say goodbye, just gone. People tried to understand. They searched for reasons, for answers, for something to blame. Was it the air, the water, the food, a punishment, a curse? Something sent by God, something unleashed by man? No one knew, and that made it worse. Without answers, people made choices. Some stayed inside, sealing themselves away. Others ran, leaving everything behind. Their homes, their belongings, their families, hoping distance would save them. But they didn't realize something. They were already carrying it. Slowly, the city changed, not all at once, but enough to feel it. Shops closed, streets emptied, doors stayed shut, and the silence grew heavier, day after day, night after night. The bells kept ringing, louder now, more often, without rest, marking each death, one after another. So many that you stopped counting, so many that the sound became normal. And that was the worst part. You begin to realize something. This is not going away. This is not temporary. This is not something you can wait out. It is everywhere. In the air you breathe, in the people you see, in the silence around you, and maybe inside you. You feel it now, not just around you, but inside you. Every sensation becomes a question, every discomfort a warning, every breath uncertain. You listen to your own body, wondering if it has already begun. But what you still don't understand is how it really spreads, how something so small can destroy something so large, how something invisible can reach everyone, and why no one could stop it. You look around, trying to understand what is happening. The bodies are there. The silence is there. The fear is everywhere. But the cause, you cannot see. There is no shadow moving through the streets, no figure spreading death, no visible enemy. And that's what makes it worse. Because how do you fight something that isn't there? People try to take control. They clean their homes. They burn herbs. They cover their faces. They avoid the sick. They pray. They isolate. They do everything they can think of. But it doesn't stop. It keeps spreading. Quietly. Efficiently. Without resistance. The truth is something no one wants to accept. It's not new. It didn't appear suddenly. It has always been here. In the streets. In the walls. beneath your feet, living alongside you, unnoticed, ignored, until now. At night, when the city is quiet, they move, along the alleys, through the shadows, between homes, small, fast, everywhere. Rats. You've seen them before. Everyone has. They were never a threat, just a part of life, something to ignore, something insignificant. But now, they are something else. It's not the rats themselves, not directly. It's what lives on them, hidden in their fur, feeding on their blood. Fleas, tiny, invisible, almost impossible to notice. And when the rats begin to die, the fleas leave. They jump, searching for a new host. Something warm, something alive, something like you. You don't feel it, not at first. A small bite, almost nothing, easy to ignore, easy to forget. But inside that moment, something begins. Something enters your body. Something begins to grow, to multiply, to take control, and you don't even know it's there. Hours pass, maybe a day, maybe two. You feel normal. You continue your routine. You speak to people. You move through the city. You live. But inside you, something is changing. Something is spreading, quietly, perfectly. Then it begins. A slight discomfort, a strange fatigue. You feel weaker, slower, like your body is not fully yours. Then the fever comes, sudden, intense, burning from the inside. Your thoughts blur, your strength fades, and you begin to realize something is wrong. The pain follows, deep, sharp, spreading through your body, and then the swelling, dark lumps beneath your skin, growing, pulsing, like something is trying to escape, but it doesn't. It stays, it grows, it consumes you, and now you understand. This is not random. This is not chance. This is something real, something unstoppable, something that has already reached you, and there is nothing you can do. Everywhere you look, the same pattern repeats. People falling, people disappearing, houses closing, streets emptying. The city is no longer a place of life. It is something else, something broken, something dying. It doesn't matter who you are, rich, poor, strong, weak. It reaches everyone. It chooses no one. It spares no one. And that is what makes it terrifying, because now you know it could already be inside you, in your blood, in your breath, in your future, and you wouldn't know until it was too late. But something even worse is coming. Not the disease, not the death, the people. What fear does to them, what survival turns them into, and how humanity begins to break. The silence is different now. It's no longer empty. It's heavy, filled with something you can't escape. Not just death, but what comes before it. Fear, the kind of fear that doesn't stay inside, the kind that spreads faster than the disease itself. You feel it everywhere, in every glance, in every movement, in every decision. People no longer look at each other the same way. There is distance, suspicion, a quiet question behind every glance. Are you safe, or are you next? And sometimes, will you make me next? Trust disappears, slowly at first, then all at once. Doors stay shut, not just at night, all the time. Homes become barriers, not for comfort, but for survival. Families stay inside, watching, waiting, listening for any sign that it has entered. But it doesn't matter how careful you are. Eventually, it finds a way in. A cough, a fever, a weakness. Something small, something easy to deny at first. But denial doesn't last long. Someone inside the house gets sick, and everything changes. The air feels different. The space feels smaller. Every movement becomes cautious. Every breath watched. And then, the question no one wants to ask appears. What do we do with them? At first, people try to help. They stay close. They bring water. They speak softly. They hope. But hope doesn't last, because they see what happens next. The fever rises, the pain grows, the body weakens, and they begin to understand this doesn't end well. And something shifts. Fear begins to replace love, not all at once, but enough. Enough to change behavior, enough to change choices, enough to break something fundamental. And then it happens. Someone leaves, quietly, without saying goodbye, without turning back, leaving the sick behind, alone, not because they don't care, but because they are afraid. Afraid of staying, afraid of dying, afraid of becoming the next body in the street. And once it happens once, it happens again, and again, and again. The streets begin to change, not just because of death, but because of absence. People disappear, not always because they died, but because they ran. They left. They abandoned everything, their homes, their belongings, their past, hoping distance would save them. It didn't. Those who remain begin to take on a different role. They are no longer just living, they are surviving. And survival changes people. Carts move through the streets, not with goods, but with bodies, collected, stacked, taken away, quickly, without pause, without ceremony. There is no time to mourn, no time to grieve, no time to process loss, because loss is constant, continuous, endless. If you stopped for every death, you would never move again. So people stop feeling, not completely, but enough. Enough to function, enough to continue, enough to survive. Emotions become distant, muted, controlled, because feeling too much becomes dangerous. The doctors return, moving through the city, dressed in black, faces hidden, voices distant. They examine the sick, they observe, they record, but they do not cure. They cannot, because they do not understand. And without understanding, there is no control. Society begins to break. Rules no longer matter. Order fades, structure collapses. What once held people together disappears, and what remains is something raw, something instinctive, something primal. Survival becomes the only goal. Not kindness, not community, not morality, just survival. And that changes everything. People make choices they never thought they would make. They leave others behind. They take what they need. They stop helping. They stop trusting. They stop caring. Not because they are evil, but because they are afraid. You watch it happen around you, inside homes, in the streets, in the silence between people. And slowly, you begin to understand something. The disease is not the only thing destroying the city. People are. But even in all this, someone is watching, someone is remembering, someone is writing. Not about the disease, but about the truth, about what people became, about what fear revealed, and his words would outlive all of this. When everything begins to collapse, when the noise fades, when the city becomes something unrecognizable, not everyone disappears. Some remain, not because they are stronger, not because they are immune, but because they survive. And surviving means witnessing. Somewhere in the middle of all this, there is someone watching, not from a distance, not from safety, but from inside it, walking through the same streets, breathing the same air, hearing the same bells, seeing the same things you see, and maybe feeling even more. He does not just see the sickness, he sees what comes with it, the choices, the reactions, the changes, the things people do when fear takes control. And he understands something. This is not just a disease, this is a revelation. And so, he begins to write, not to explain, not to solve, but to remember, to capture something before it disappears. Because he knows, this will not be told correctly later. It will be softened, cleaned, simplified. But what he sees is none of those things. He writes about the fear, not the kind people talk about, but the real kind. The kind that changes behavior. The kind that breaks bonds. The kind that turns people into something else. He writes about families, not united, but divided. He writes about love, not strong, but fragile, easily replaced by survival. He saw people abandon each other, not once, not rarely, but constantly. He saw parents leave children, children leave parents, friends disappear, neighbors avoid each other, entire relationships erased in a moment of fear. And he wrote it down. He did not hide it. He did not soften it. He did not make it easier to accept, because what he saw was not easy. It was raw. It was uncomfortable. It was real. And through his words, something becomes clear. The disease was powerful. Yes, it killed. It spread. It destroyed. But it wasn't the only thing. Fear was just as powerful. Fear changed people faster than the disease did. It reshaped behavior. It rewrote priorities. It broke things that once seemed unbreakable. Trust, loyalty, compassion, all of it, tested and often lost. When it was over, when the deaths slowed, when the bells finally stopped, something remained. Not just empty streets, not just missing people, but a different world, a changed world. Those who survived were not the same. They had seen too much, lost too much, understood too much. They carried something with them, something invisible, something that would never leave. Memory. And because one man chose to write, that memory did not disappear. It stayed, preserved, waiting for someone to read it again, to understand it again, to feel it again. And now, you are one of those people. You have seen it, not just the disease, but what it did, what it revealed, what it changed, and what it exposed about human nature. Because in the end, the Black Death was not just about death. It was about truth. The truth about fear. The truth about survival. The truth about people. And that truth is still relevant, even now. Because the question was never just, what was the Black Death? The real question is, what would you do if you were there? And more importantly, would you be any different?